You gain control of JK Rowling's Twitter account for a day. What unnecessary piece of information do you add to Harry Potter lore? Harry put his name in the Goblet of Fire. I would make it clear that the cursed child is not canon. Ron and Hermione's safe word is mudblood. Fun HP fact. Ron's feet squeak like clown's feet wherever he walks. It echoes in the halls of Hogwarts. In the late 90s, an American wizard decided to invent padded grips that a witch or wizard could slip onto their wand for personal preference and a better handle on casting their spells. The product was called a Woody, and Arthur Weasley, with his extensive interest in Muggle items and lingo, was the only one who seemed to find it hilarious. Dave Chappelle is a wizard and quit television and went to Africa to study magic. There are some scientist wizards which dedicate themselves to study how the physical universe and the spiritual magical one interact on a subatomic level, just because. The composition of the wand means nothing. A wizard could use a plastic drinking straw and it would work just fine, as long as they expect it to work. I'm writing a new book. I'll make her add a lot more lore by bumping community expectations. Twilight is absolutely in the same universe. That the Queen of England is a living Horcrux and that's why she just won't die. Harry's favorite finger, for no particular reason, is his left index finger. Teenage wizards would jack off in front of the hottest moving paintings. Voldemort's parents were anti-vaxxers. Nobody gives a fuck about Harry after he graduates, and he ends up spending the rest of his life bitter and working as a barista at Wizard Starbucks in Hogsmeade. Harry was born with a third testicle. Fred and George Weasley switched places during the Battle of Hogwarts. When George died, Fred adopted George's life, complete with cutting off his ear, because he figured George wouldn't want him to spoil the joke. How Hermione really loved pegging Ron after they got married. Buckbeak is an animagus who is fully intelligent and capable of turning back into a human at any time, but doesn't because it's his fetish. Neville Longbottom has a 30.5 centimeters cock. Harry wakes up in Hogwarts and everyone is gone for Christmas vacation when he has to defend the school from being robbed by Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. Voldemort doesn't have a butthole after resurrection. Hogwarts in the 60s was a drug-fueled Technicolor dancing orgy every night and the only reason it doesn't come up more often is because not a lot of people clearly remember it. Luna Lovegood's husband dies in a Crumple-Horned Snorkag-related accident and she remarries Neville Longbottom. They have 2 children together and have a happy, blended family while Neville goes on to become one of the most renowned herbologists in Hogwarts history, using Luna's talents for hunting the unknown and Neville's unparalleled bravery to find new species of plants that help cure Alzheimer's and other memory-related issues. They die in Peru at the ripe age of 102 and 99 respectively, in a humping mangrove accident. That most people don't play beyond their early 20s because they develop Quidditch asshole. Neville's frog is gay. The reason Dumbledore didn't bring back Harry's parents with the Time Turner is because Dumbledore always wanted a son of his own, but then changed his mind a few years later and dumped him at the Dursleys. Harry and Ron used some of Hermione's hair and Polyjuice potion to kill some time in the dormitories. Israel and Palestine have a singular wizarding school, because while the Muggles haven't, the wizards in the region came to peace hundreds of years ago. Edit. Peace not peace lol. Underneath the robe, Professor McGonagall is actually 2 twin dwarfs standing on each other's shoulders. They take turns being on top so the other doesn't get tired. The sorting hat was %100 unnecessary for class distribution. Its primary purpose was to get rid of head lice. Harry's great-grandfather is Mexican. Harry D. Potter. After Book 2 and the Polyjuice experiments, Ron and Hermione permanently switched places. Harry frequently entered the girls' dormitory. Muggle orphanages know about magic and when an orphan shows magical prowess they phone the Ministry of Magic for pickup and leave the baby outside. The ministry hasn't figured out how voicemail works and never come to pick up the children. Voldemort's penises also have snake-slit noses. Ron likes to take all his clothes off when he poops. Rita Skeeter wrote The Cursed Child. Ron is adopted and dyes his hair. The Homping Willow was gay. The Forbidden Forest is forbidden because Dumbledore and Hagrid have an illegal grow-op hidden inside. The Wizarding School is a front to launder money. I would 100% post that meme JK Rowling reveals that you, the reader, were gay all along. But besides that, I would talk about the required procedure behind the pre-plumbing shitting wherever you are then making it disappear thing. Also, WTF JKR, why couldn't they have had magical outhouses? Why did it have to get weird? That the Hufflepuff common room had an orgy pit. Voldemort was voluntarily circumcised at the age of 18. The Loch Ness Monster is someone who tried Polyjuice Potion with basilisk DNA. Make the fan theory that the surviving Weasley twin becomes the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka later in life. Hermione has been secretly hoarding corn, yes, as in corn on the cob, in her room since she was very young. Even after she left for Hogwarts, she continued to hoard corn in her dorm. She never speaks about it. She just quietly collects a vegetable as if it's second nature. One day, Harry and Ron discovered her corn stash. Since then, they frequently ask her about why she collects corn, but she pretends she never heard that and keeps talking to them about the things they were previously discussing. Nice try, JK. The goblins at Gringotts don't have children. They just randomly split one day during a mitosis-like process and then go about their days. Their suits are part of this process. My amazing so. George Weasley was adopted, not Fred though. Harry doesn't have a left pinky toe. It was the only part of him hurt by the killing curse when he was a baby. And then all of us fan theorists will wonder why Lily didn't love his left pinky toe. The protagonist was actually the flying car and everything after is just epilogue. All Hogwarts students are required to take a sex ed course. The teacher Hagrid. Hagrid's dog Fluffy and Mrs. Norris were lovers. Dudley was actually adopted by the Dursleys. Buckbeak was a metaphor. The My Immortal fanfic is now 100% canon. Thank you, JKR. Dudley Dursley has a Muggle-born daughter. She gets her Hogwarts letter and Dudley reconnects with Harry so he can learn about magic and be the opposite of his parents. I double down and declare that some of the older teachers at Hogwarts would forget they were supposed to use toilets now, so occasionally they'd just drop trow and urinate in front of everyone. Harry became a Minecraft Let's Player after he left Hogwarts. After learning the fact that witches and wizards used to shit on the spot, I don't think there's any more unnecessary info to be added. Lol. Fred came back as a ghost. Dobby's asshole has the same properties as a bag of holding and can expand to accommodate any object no matter the girth. The Weasley family car is actually related to Lightning McQueen and Herbie. Snape was a never nude. Buckbeak eats chicken Alfredo once a week. Moaning Myrtle was masturbating in the bathroom when she dies, hence the name Moaning Myrtle. She was reported as crying based on what an ignorant first year claimed. There is a Wizarding World version of Magic, the Gathering called Muggles, the Congregation. Hermione dresses up as a cat girl for Ron, who developed a thing for it before they were dating. All of the really batshit information, Najani being a cursed Korean lady, the vanishing shits, the whole cursed child play, all of that was just a Quibbler article. Oh Zeno Lovergood, you endearing fruitcake. The sock that freed Dobby was actually a Potter family heirloom, having been worn by Bobby Charlton in the 1966 FIFA World Cup final. The Potters were very quiet about how they came to acquire it. Harry was originally supposed to be Latino. Ron Weasley has the longest cock of the Weasley boys, but not the girthiest. I don't think I could top the post she made about wizards disappearing their poo with magic before muggles invented toilets. Snape was a stamp collector. This is the real reason James Potter bullied him. Hagrid tried faux and didn't really care for it.
When you're using the invisible cloak, you're not actually invisible, you're naked. They just choose to ignore you as to not make things awkward. Hagrid shaves all his body hair from the neck down. Hermione was actually a collective delusion shared by Harry and Ron. Hagrid was a metaphor for the misunderstanding and mistreatment of furries. I actually always envisioned Dumbledore aggressively asking Harry, maybe even yelling, if he put his name in the Goblet of Fire. Ron grew up to become Ed Sheeran. Even though it's very much obvious, I would like to clear the air and state, categorically, that all this time, you, my dear readers, are indeed homosexual. Witches and wizards have microscopic beings called magi-chlorians that live within their bodies which grant them access to magic.